Hey guys, Matt Science here, and today I am playing Fallstreak once again. The visual novel that's taking a bit longer than I expected. Anyway, let's get into the game. So, today we are continuing the story where, at the moment, Tristan Callier and Annalise are in a competition to see who has the best bridge building skills. And it's at the grand finale. So, who will be the ones to claim today's special prize? Will it be the plucky Lurich twins or the cunning Annalise? Just gonna move that off the screen. The time has come to determine the winner of today's bridge construction contest. This is it, the final showdown. The three of us watch over our bridges intently as intimidating new masses are added to their already bulging payloads. Each time they successfully withstand the mounting pressure with a breath of relief. Breaths of relief resound through the tense classroom, which had fallen unnervingly silent compared to its previous commotion. Methodically, slowly, our bridges are placed under such duress, their frames begin to deform from the strain. Time seems to slow to a crawl as a foreboding feeling that the upcoming wait will be the moment of truth. Grips me. Oh, I need to drink my tea to calm myself. Then, just as the weight in question is added, oh, the sound of splintering wood echoes through the air. Someone's bridge finally gives in. Shock silence swells up within the room at that deciding instant. Who won? A single voice spoke. A conclusion has been reached. The winner is the Lurich twins. No, I want at least actually no. I like the Lurich twins to be at least. The room explodes in cheers and cries at the declaration of the victor. No, it can't be true. I gaze down in disbelief upon the remnants of my sweet toil. Creation and destruction, such transient beauty. I knew it could come to this, and yet it still wounds me. With the swagger of an undisputed champion, Callier utters the ultimate words of victory. Good game, easy. Or with most bodily go, it's GG easy. As the decisive winners, would you care to elaborate on your success to the class, Callier? Hang on. This feels a bit like an unfair competition, because despite Callier not having arms and Tris not being able to speak, it's two heads against one. That's a bit unfair. What do you think was the most important thing to keep in mind in regards to design decisions? If there's one thing that should have been the center of focus, it was the rule that all bridges must be under a certain weight limit. Okay. Though your bridge really did have a sturdy weight to bearing ratio aid, it didn't approach the weight limit that was given for the contest. That's fair. I noticed that as well, but it was difficult for me to do anything about it. That's because suspension bridges are tough to reinforce after their first build. It's hard for you to do much with the wiggle room you end up with if it doesn't reach the cap right away. I see. Then can you tell us why you two chose the design that you did? Tristan and I decided that the truss bridge was the best design for taking advantage of the limit. Truss bridges are made almost all out of triangles, which is the simplest and strongest shape. That is true. Triangles are strong because they're hard to deform. Like, you push on the corner of a square, you can easily turn it into another shape like a rhombus, right? But if you put a single diagonal bar inside the square and basically turn it into two triangles, it becomes really hard to change its shape. Yeah, I don't disagree. Also, since triangles are the simplest shape with only 3 sides, it's easy to reinforce a truss bridge. The triangle is indeed a central building block in construction. It appears you are learning much from your father, Altoon Lorette. Tris did a good job trimming weight off parts that we didn't need. I will not make jokes. We used a lot of smart tricks, like using the smallest amount of glue possible to connect the bridge parts. This was done by using a dab of glue and binder clips to make sure it attached strongly. At the end of the day, this project was all about milking as much as you could out of the bridge weight limit. Wow, you two make such a cool team when you work together. It's definitely why you won. As much as it pains me to concede defeat, I can't deny their groundwork is impressively well thought out. Guess my bridge couldn't handle the suspense. Well played, you two. Suspension bridge. Suspense. Joke! I'm pretty sure our bridge could hold even more if we wanted to. Perhaps wanting to test her point, Tris reaches out and gingerly wraps their bridge in his knuckle, causing it to instantly collapse. Tristan! Ah. No matter you, it's still my favourite character ever. Not even close, baby. Oh. Edging over to block the scene with her body, Kelly gives Tris a stomp to the foot for good measure as he stands dumbfounded with his head still suspended in midair. Somehow I feel really tired all of a sudden. While losing on the cusp of glory made me somewhat salty, I have to admit their methods were on point. Just goes to show the value of being taught by someone with experience over simply reading about it in a book. I don't know how to build bridges, and I know triangles the strongest shape for building. Seriously, and I didn't even read it. As I promised, I will now award you two your prize. Oof. With light movements characteristic to handling something delicate, Mr. Norrell unveils something from his face and lowers it into Tristan's hands. Murmurs of awe could be heard as the class hurried crowded around the object in question. This is an ornamental hair clip created from the blazing orange flames of the Phoenix oriole, a species thought to have gone extinct since the fire. Well, that is something you don't want to be giving someone that survived of the fire of collapse. Seriously, that's not a smart idea. It's like it's on fire, burning up. Mr. Norrell always gifts the coolest things. While the class was clearly enraptured, one person alone seemed detached from the clamour. A person whose reaction you'd expect to be yelling at Triss to let her see it already. But instead, she gazes on wordlessly from a distance. However, Triss doesn't fail to notice this. Taking the feathered adornment in hand, he idles up to his sister and with an indiscreet motion, clips it onto her head. What are you doing all of a sudden? But Triss just smiles dumbly in response. Heh. Do you remember Triss? The bedtime story she once told us. The story of the Rainbow Crow. Rainbow Crow? With a hint of hesitation, Triss nods. You know, right? Even though it wasn't the truth, she wanted to let us know of a happy ending. That's why we have to. With all we've got, we have to. A girl who couldn't take hold of anything even as it lay right before her, and a boy who couldn't make his unspoken heart heard. It was a scene that captured the essence of the relationship between the Lurid twins. Ugh. Why'd you already make me cry? Don't do this to me. Just as Callier acted as Triss's voice, when he could not voice himself, Triss acted as Callier's hands when she could not reach out. It was a nuanced bond one could never guess at, with how they were always messing around with each other. We did it, Triss. Don't get too smug, though. This is just the beginning. What was that sound effect? Smiling faintly, they bump heads for the forehead vibe. Not so hard, dummy. Somehow, it's really heartwarming. Me too. Ding, ding, ding. It appears that in her enthusiasm to join their forehead vibe session, the Rona missile has knocked the Lurid twins out of commission. Right back into the humor. Oh. Why don't you ever give Big Sister Lorena forehead vibes? It's not fair. Blah, blah, blah. I think the answer to that question is self-evident. Sibling love is not something to be underestimated. Callier, Triss, they make me proud. They've come such a long way from the dark place they were in 2 years ago. Oh no. Don't tell me we're gonna get the Lurid twins story in more detail. Good tea. Alright class, even though it's been an eventful day, it's not over yet. We have quite a bit to clean up. Everything has to be squeaky clean if you want to get to the real fun. An air of unrest pervaded the room as students ran about, turning things up to the best of their ability. But the reason was far from being because everyone was anticipating being let out for the day. Rather, everyone was looking forward to staying as long as they possibly could. Now, the moment that you've all been waiting for. With Erna at his side, Mr. Morale gestures over to the iconic valise. Game stay! Yes! Game within the game! Everyone shouts out in chorus as Eleanor flips open the valleys. A blurry of balloons flood out all at once, blanketing the floor of the school. Not even the ceiling was spared, as dozens of helium-filled ones flew into the air. That thing was really living up to its reputation as a hole to another dimension. For today's game, we'll be playing a special version of Capture the Flag, inspired by an event yesterday that none shall speak of. He's talking about the break. He's talking about the break. The class will be divided into 2 teams of players. Each player will have a balloon tied around their waist that signifies their life. If that balloon is popped, such as by an opposing team member, you'll be counted as being slain. After your balloon is popped, you cannot rejoin the game until you return to your team base and acquire another balloon from your team's allotted stockpile. The objective is to force the enemy team to deplete their balloon supply while protecting your own. Additionally, each team base will have a special flag that can be captured by the enemy team. The successful capture means that the opposing team must pop 10 of the balloons in their stockpile. Is there anything else you'd like to know? What do we get for winning? More rapt at attention than in any lecture he could ever hope to give. The class screams out in unison. First off, the team will be counted as losing if all the balloons worn and stored on its side are popped. A losing team must accept a punishment of inhaling helium until their voice becomes squeaky. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Or best served squeaky. Once that is done, the other team gets the exclusive right of dictating what must be voiced during that duration. Everyone quivered at the possibility of being forced to endure such a humiliation. Yet at the same time, there was no denying the tantalizing prospect of reveling in the shame of the defeated. I'll now announce the teams. After Mr. Morale finishes assigning the teams, I quickly survey what we might have to work with. On my team, the blue team, were Tristan, Loretta, and Noletta, along with Lemmy and Annabelle. I'd like to make Ada team captain. The moment we assemble, Loretta immediately makes that suggestion. Looking around, I see everyone nodding in approval. Leave it to me. I nod back, emboldened by everyone's unwavering confidence in me. Foremost at my thoughts were how to deal with the red team's aces, Kalia and Erwina. One might think our team would be an advantage against the armless Kalia and unseen Erwina, but they would be far from correct. Kalia was an unmatched speed demon that could run circles around us without getting caught, with her mobility allowing her to switch between attacking and defending quickly. The only thing that gates her was that she needed team support to secure objectives. As for Erwina, I was convinced she was a bat or something, because when she got heated up, she moved more like someone who could see an additional dimension rather than nothing. Erwina's physical capabilities were also out of this world. With there being little doubt she could take anyone in a straight one-on-one. That being said, she was the other extreme from Kalia, being unable to maneuver around the battlefield too well with her vision impaired. So we should expect these two to work together then. though her anti-personnel was peerless. She lacked offensive presence in regards to wind conditions like raiding stockpiles and capturing flags, meaning we'd likely find her on base defense. As for our team, we had Triss, a slower but more prudent departure from Kalia, whose aggressive nature and quickness made him ideal for blitzing. Noletta, on the other hand, was cool-headed and resilient, with her sluggish speed making her more suited to holding down the fort. Lastly, Lorona didn't have any noteworthy strengths of her own, but her aptitude for working on a team was difficult to overstate. She always seemed to have a good nose for covering teammates when they got themselves in a pinch, which made her synergize well with risk takers like Triss or Kalia. After breaking down our strengths and weaknesses, I assembled a strike team of 3 consisting of Lorona, Triss and me, with Noletta, Annabelle and Lemmy making up the base defense team. Everyone knows their role, right? Let's get out there and do some damage. Breaking from our huddle with a battle cry, I look over at the red team to see how they are faring. Just to confirm, the balloons are positioned around everyone's lower back, right? That's right. Just give it a nice kick and it should go pop. Oh, as long as you don't score one in the butt of anyone. A toothy grin could be seen on Kalia's face as she warms up by kicking the air around what could be someone's eye level. What? Okay. Well, that's something to look forward to. Who's ready to win? Turning back to my team, I stretch my hand into the air to rally them. We are! Morale was already skyrocketing through the roof. Unable to contain our energy any longer, we rush outside the school building to set up base for the upcoming clash. As we do, I give out more detailed directives regarding our lineup. Tactical command of base defense will fall on Noletta. Noletta, the flag and stockpile are separate locations, so make sure at least one person is guarding each at all times. Assign the quickest person to pressure relief should one location get focused down. Okay. This measure was necessary since I'll be concentrating my attention on directing the strike team. Tell us what to do, Noletta. We won't let them through. Triss, I want you to be the strike team's vanguard. Don't make any attempts on objectives unless I order it. Just concentrate on picking someone off on their base defense. Once you poke a hole in the enemy's defenses, I'll direct how we push in. Trish shivers with excitement as he takes a deep breath and nods. The Loritts thrived under high pressure of spearheading assaults, jumping on opponents the moment they showed a window of vulnerability. It was very much a high risk reward form of approach, which was why the support savvy Lorena was invaluable for safety securing any leverage we generated. Lorena, be sure to stick close to Triss so you can follow up on his takedowns and back him up if he gets blindsided. Okay. Be prepared to commit to full-on assault at my signal. After going over defensive contingencies should our base be overrun, I turned to survey the battlefield. The strike team was a highly concentrated one. Rather than spreading out attackers, it aimed to overwhelm and spill into one section of the enemy base. As such, it was good for surgical strikes and maintaining offensive momentum should even a single defense rampart fall. The main reason I selected this team composition was because it was well equipped at avoiding Oona and attacking areas she wasn't defending. This comp did have its share of weakness, though. It was easier for the enemies to surround us. and we had weak ambient battleground presence for deterring attacks or relieving pressure on our own base. A lot depended on the latter's base defense to hold the line for this strategy to be successful. Upon completing our preparations, we line up to face the red team's camp. Seeing that both sides are ready for action, Mr. Norrell lifts his hand to announce the commencement of the game. I'm going to take a quick sip. One last thing before we begin. There is a trump card hidden somewhere on the battlefield. Before his hand descends, though, a devilish smile plays over Mr. Norrell's face as he inserts a sun addendum to the game. Whoever discovers this trump card will be granted a powerful advantage. If you find your team on the verge of defeat, search for this trump card to turn the tide of the battle. That's our teacher for you, adding a wildcard right as the game is about to begin to generate the maximum amount of hype. Your only hint is as follows. Look through the sky to find the pure purpose of this school. What? Okay. The tension-saturated battlefield stirred as Mr. Norrell's cryptic words. Now begin! Cutting that tension with the grand arc of his hand, Mr. Norrell releases us at last. There's no time to dawdle on Mr. Norrell's riddle. Almost immediately, Triss explodes into action with Lorna and me following close behind. Crossing up the opponents that had advanced to attack, he weaves in a oblique pattern through the enemy formation and crashes aggressively against their defenses. Oh my gosh! Bob! Tripping up one of the defenders that moves forward to meet him, Triss opens up an opportunity for Lorena to follow up and pop their balloon. One defender left manning the red team's flag, while their stockpile appears to be unguarded, an unwise choice. Though the name of the game is Capture the Flag, in this version a flag is only worth 10 balloons. Given enough time and personnel, you can pop all the team's balloons if you attack their stockpile, making it a far much valuable objective. Charge the stockpile! I order an audacious charge to take advantage of the lightning-fast breach of the enemy's defenses. Diving deep into the heart of the enemy camp, we eliminate the final defender by drawing him into a pincer as he hastily rushes to intercept us from his post on the flag. Pop as many of the stockpile balloons as you can. Just as Trish reaches an enemy balloon though, something strange happens. A rod extends from the cluster of red balloons, lightly tapping Triss on the side. Like a sprung trap, a hand erupts from within, scattering the balloons in its wake. Catching and redirecting his momentum with practice ease, it drives Triss straight into the ground. It was Erwina, but just as she lashes out to finish him, Lorena manages to heave him out of the way before collapsing to the ground herself. Crap, I had predicted Erwina would be on base defense. Why hadn't I considered the possibility of an ambush? Our defensive momentum had stalled completely in the face of a veritable opponent. You shall. Oh, the ring's up in the house. You shall not pass. With a declaration surveying absolute conviction, Erwina pounds her cane into the ground. A light touch with that thing was all she needed to confirm your position and take you down. That Triss had survived was a miracle. No matter how I looked at it, we were thoroughly outmatched. Taking Erwina head-on was an option. It wouldn't be long before the other defenders acquired new balloons and reinforced her, turning this into a losing battle. Retreat and go for the flag. Recalling we had eliminated its guard, I shouted at our team to redirect our efforts. But Owenna is the first to react to my order. Dashing forward to catch us, her rod chases Triss and Lorona as they desperately try to scramble around her. They can't get away without help. Eyeing Owenna's movements, I circle around to get an angle on her back before lunging forward with a deliberately loud stomp. Yay! Reacting with lightning speed, Owenna swivels around and checks my motion, her rod hovering mere inches from my chest. It was no exaggeration to say the radius around Owenna's person was a no man's land. If I had misjudged the distance and stopped any shorter, I'd be a goner right now. Realizing Triss and Lorena had used the distraction to peel off, I promptly disengaged as well to make a run for the flag. Ruby 1, now! Interpreting Owenna's cry as a panic signal, I hastily grabbed the red flag and started to fall back with the rest of the strike team. Watch out, eh? Before we can even clear the enemy camp though, a blurred movement flits in the corner of my eye. Thanks to Lorena's warning, I managed to duck just as the foot sails through the air and threatens to lop off my head. What is going on? Holy jeez, this is one aggressive game! It was Kalia, with her customary lack of chill. Utilizing her trademark speed, she rotated back to defend in the blink of an eye. As Kalia advances to follow up on her whiff, Triss jumps in to intervene, tumbling to the ground with her in the process. At that moment, two red team members swoop in from behind to try and finish Triss off as he grapples with Kalia on the ground. Aurelia cuts in to shield him, but it's clear she's outnumbered. The red team's defense had recovered and was attacking from behind. With the red offense cutting us off from the front and the red defense pressuring us from behind, we were completely surrounded. Go aid, we'll hold them off. This is intense! Grasping that we can't avoid taking casualties, I abandon my teammates and take off with due speed. I keep my eyes peeled as I approach our flag holding ground, where the capture can be solidified if I manage to make it. That's when I perceive two young people closing in on me from both flanks at once. It was the rest of the red team's assault squad. Judging that they catch me before I made it back home, I jerked to the side at the last moment, causing them to skid off course. They quickly regained balance before resuming the pursuit of me though. There's no way I can outrun them while encumbered by this flag, and I'm still too far away. At this rate, my comrades' sacrifices will be in vain. Just as the duo leap at me though, a strong gust blows past my face. Oh, no, let her go, we're in for the save! A figure places itself between me and the encroaching enemies, utterly laying me one out and stopping the other dead in the tracks. I am sorry, I can't speak well, I'm just too excited. It was Nalea! The opponent in her grasp crumbles spectacularly as she overpowers him, allowing the two under her command to neutralize the arrested enemy's balloons. It looks like she made the decision to abandon base defense to converge on and secure the flag. Lorena and Triss are down. The red team is mobilizing to launch a counterattack. We'll hold them back. Hurry aid. Nodding quietly at Nalea's back, I waste no time in leaving my companions behind, placing my trust in them as they stand their ground. Upon arriving at our flag holding area, I plant the enemy flag into the ground and shout out, "Red flag capture complete!" The blue team has successfully captured the red team's flag. As stipulated in the rules, I will now proceed to pop 10 of the balloons in the red team's stockpile. As I turn back to confirm the situation, I feel my jaw dropping in disbelief at what I see. Kalia was hurtling down the battlefield at breakneck speed, which wasn't unusual in itself. It was the fact that a certain someone was tailing behind her that defied all expectation. Ruby 1 commencing delivery of the package. Aqua at 2 o'clock. Get them, Owenna. Planting her feet, Kalia uses her body as a fulcrum to pivot and swing around her package out ahead of her. The red team is mobilizing to launch a counterattack. We'll hold them back. Hurry aid. Nodding quietly at the last moment, I plant the enemy flag into the ground and shout out, "Red flag capture complete!" The blue team has successfully captured the red team's flag. As stipulated in the rules, I will now proceed to pop 10 of the balloons in the red team's stockpile. As I turn back to confirm the situation, I feel my jaw dropping in disbelief at what I see. Kalia was hurtling down the battlefield at breakneck speed, which wasn't unusual in itself. It was the fact that a certain someone was tailing behind her that defied all expectation. Wow! With one hand gripping Kalia's dangling sleeve, Oano reaches out with her rod to confirm Lemmy's location before sweeping his legs out from under him with blinding swiftness. Holy! Beg Kalia, after pulling Kalia in to land the killing salt, Oano lets Kalia propel her to the next target in a deadly dance that rapidly mows down the rest of Noletta's base defense team. It looks like something lifted straight out of a nightmare. The freedom that Kalia lacked sleep offered in conjunction with her blazing speed had allowed for a scenario I had never imagined. The rapid deployment of Oana on the front lines. Capturing the flag and resetting to neutral would have granted us a war of attrition where the red team would have been pressured to commit to disadvantage offences. But we had expended too many resources in pursuit of that objective. They were employing their most powerful asset at the optimal time, while we were still weak from a blitz gambit. This Kalia Oana delivery combo was the perfect counter-offensive for punishing our overextension. Looking over our stockpile, I catch Citrus and Lorena attempting to tie on new balloons, but the two red defense members from before had followed them and were popping balloons left and right as they attempted to revive. We're getting camped! With a yell, Lorena dives out of the way as Kalia and Oana arrive to capitalize on the red team stalling. As the only one alive, I could only watch on powerlessly as the red team ignored our flag and went straight for the throat. When Noella and her team tried to return to try and revive, Lorena and Triss managed to slip out with balloons and rejoin me. But even then, we don't have the forces to retake our lost ground. Contending with the unstoppable Kalia Oana juggernaut was daunting enough, but we also had a numbers disadvantage. What should we do? The hope seemed to be fading from Lorena's eyes. Giving up now wasn't an option. We're abandoning base. Wipe out their stockpile. If we can't defend, then we'll just have to strike back. Red has committed all their resources on all out open. Responding to a crippling counterattack with a counterattack of our own was a desperate measure, but it was the only option we had right now. Looking at me grimly, the blue strike team takes off to clean up the rest of the balloons in the red stockpile. On the way, we encountered two red offense members that Noletta had previously subdued, but they wisely keep their distance, opting instead to regroup with the rest of their team. When we arrived, we managed to finish the job quickly, with 10 having already been eliminated from our flag capture, but even then, the situation looked bleak. With both stockpiles exhausted and all objectives rendered obsolete, the red team turned their fangs on us. The odds were overwhelming, 3 versus 6, and with the red team being at full power. Taking full advantage of their numbers, the red team spreads out in a fan formation, seizing comprehensive control of the battlefield as the game enters its final phase. Slowly but surely, they press on a diminutive group into a corner with safe and systematic skirmishes, giving us no chance to fight back. Though we were managing to ward off the combined attacks of Kalia's defense team and Eleanor's defense team, we were growing tired under continued harass. We had no relief options compared to the team who could alternate fresh bodies to keep up the siege. It's useless aid. Your team's morale has fallen too low. You cannot win. Kalia taunts us as we gradually run out of space to back up. But surrender was not an option. Even if we have to crawl, we'd never give up. There's still a way. We just need to find the trump card. I tried to rally my comrades behind that final shot of hope, but exhaustion was beginning to creep into even my voice. Ha! Find it if you can. Even if such a thing actually existed, there's no way it saved you from these odds. Laughing like a despotic tyrant, Kalia continues to constrict her forces around us. Ah. Oh my gosh. Loretta cries out in fatigue as she barely manages to escape with her life after warding off a pincer attack on our flanks. One last thing before we begin. There's a trump card hidden somewhere on the battlefield. Heaving deeply, Triss drags himself off the ground after being driven back by a vicious three-man charge. Whoever discovers this trump card will be granted a powerful advantage. We've read this already. Come on. If you find your team on the verge of defeat, search for this trump card to turn the tide of battle. Isn't there anything we can do? The only hint is as follows. Look through the sky to find the pure purpose of this school. Time seems slow to a crawl as I close my eyes, letting the tension leak from my body with a slow exhalation. An unending cycle of being broken over and over again, no matter how many times I try to stand back up. Giving up before this hopeless situation would be the natural thing to do. There's no way out of this. Nobody could blame me for succumbing to those powerless thoughts. But even then, there's a way. I choose to struggle. Heat begins to build up behind my shut eyelids as I voice my disbelief with unwavering conviction. Amidst the darkness stretching out before me, a single golden light was shining. Reaching out, I seized that golden radiance in the hand and forced my eyes open. I see it! The moment vision returns to me, I perceive the blue team stockpile at the far left of the battlefield and the blue flag at the far right. The path forward was clear. To me, blue team! Huh? I figured out what the trump card is. Bellowing in the firmest voice I can muster, I motion to our left in the direction of the blue team stockpile. Break through that location at all costs. Hope flickers in the eyes of my comrades as they are shown a light beyond the edge of despair they've been teetering on for so long. For the motherland! Summoning every last ounce of strength left in our bodies, the last remaining blue team members charge forward with desperate ferocity. What? Stop them! Don't let them get there no matter what. Surprised by our sudden fierce resistance, Kalia orders the red team to pull back and tie their formation to prevent us from slipping through. Barreling through the outstretched arms of multiple red interceptors, Triss penetrates deep into enemy territory before finally being snuffed out. Oh no! With a valiant cry, Loretta scatters the remaining pile up and carries us even deeper before succumbing to the ravenous hordes. However, for me, instead of continuing down the path we had carved, I make a sharp right and beeline for the blue flag. A feint? Though it pains me to use my comrades as a decoy, there's no better way to deceive your enemies than by deceiving your allies. Catching on to my diversion, Kalia, who had been laying back to serve as a sweeper, breaks out into an all-out sprint to cut me off. At this rate, she'll block me off from the flag in time, if only barely. But that's fine. Just when I pass, I'm about to overlap, I abruptly make another sharp right, letting her skid out of control in front of the blue flag. A double feint? Mustering all my strength, I race down the sideline to my true objective, a bystander watching over the game from midfield. I figured it out, Mr. Narao. Panting heavily, I double over and rest my hands on my knees as I try to catch my breath. Hold Kalia. Stand down. Mrs. Narao gestures behind me as the sound of footsteps belatedly converges on our location. Aid, you say you figured it out. In that case, what is the trump card? After taking a moment to gulp down some air, I open my mouth to speak. Look through the sky to find the pure purpose of this school. Taken as a whole, it leads nowhere, but when broken down, it all comes together. First, purpose of the school. I try to think of something unique to this school at first, but when it comes down to it, the purpose of every school can be boiled down to one thing. That is, learning. Indeed, it is as you say. Sometimes the closer you look, the less you see. After having the first of my thoughts confirmed by Mr. Norrell, I continue. Next, look through the sky to find. On a representational level, what would you need to search through the sky? The first thing that comes to mind is wings. With those two conclusions, deriving from the final clue from pure comes naturally. Something that symbolizes purity. For example, the color white. Norrell can be interpreted to mean white wings of learn. Wow! What? That is, I was not expecting that. Norrell can be interpreted to mean white wings of learning. If it's difficult for you to understand, you may refer to me as Mr. Norrell for now. White wings of learning. The meaning of your name, Mr. Norrell. The trump card is you. With no other change in expression, Mr. Norrell closes his eyes at my answer. I must say, the stunt you pulled to concentrate and displace the red team's formation was impressive. But instead of confirming my answer, he slowly circles around behind me and begins untying my balloon. Could it be I was mistaken? With a crestfallen murmur, I drop my gaze to the ground. Rather than answer me though, Mr. Norrell poses a question of his own. Tell me, child, do you know what a Deus Ex Machina is? Puzzled, I try to recall when I had read about it in my mother's collection. Gone from the machine. It refers to a plot device in which an inextricable situation is solved by sudden intervention. Could it be? I feel my eyes widen as I look back up in time just to see Mr. Norrell tie my balloon to his back. Call for me and I shall come. With a flash of his arm, Mr. Norrell casts his coat to the wind and steps onto the battlefield. Rejoice, blue team! I have come to avenge your fallen! With an otherworldly roar, Mr. Norrell surges forward with demonic speed. In a blink of an eye, he shreds two of the red team's offense's balloons to pieces before turning to bear down on Kalia. What in the world? Fall back, Kalia, you can't take him! Quick on the uptake, Erna orders Kalia to turn tail. She's down! But before she can get far, Mr. Norrell catches up and ruptures the fragile air vessel, signifying her life with an impossibly swift and accurate strike. To think he could outspeed Kalia to such a degree, even reading her attempt to juke him off, it was unbelievable. Go, Mr. Norrell! Woo! There's still hope! Time to tip the scales. Mr. Norrell! No longer was the blue team quailing at the prospect of imminent defeat. Emboldened by the grand reversal, we cried in jubilation as our fighting spirits are restoked. This is for my teacher's pride. Letting loose a blood-curdling howl, Mr. Norrell sweeps through the bewildered red team as they scramble to stay alive. By introducing a single new element, we had completely turned the tables and regained the initiative. Was this the fury of a teacher that had been forced to endure helium-induced humiliation in front of his own class? An irrevocable death spiral, utter decimation. Before long, only one red team member remained standing. Father, you are acting childish. Eleanor's stoic figure stood as the last obstacle before Mr. Norrell ceaseless advance. come and strike down this childish father of yours then. If it's you, there's no need to hold back. Coldly informing him she will not back down, Owen manipulates a mechanism on an iconic rod and smashes it against the ground. What? Whoa! Whoa! With a slight sound, the rod abruptly extends to a length exceeding her full height. What the hell? Dauntless and unmovable, Erna brandishes the uninhabited tool before her, adopting the honed stance of a seasoned lancer. What's going on? It can do that? Everything rested on this duel between Erna and Mr. Durrell. Holy shit! Holy shit! Dripping suspense, bleeding tension, as the two hardened combatants squared off against each other. A climatic gust blew through the battlefield, rustling the chilled air. The moment the frozen air is disturbed, Mr. Durrell lunges forward, precipitating the beginning of the end. Ha! Owen was quick to react, bringing her rod to bear with breathtaking speed. With a flurry of strikes, she walls off Mr. Durrell's advance, forcing him to step back and block with his shins and forearms. Pushing Mr. Durrell off balance, Owen lifts her rod high into the air and brings it down with deafening force. Fuck! But he manages to spin away at the last moment, barely escaping a devastating attack. The ground. Where Owen's swift strike had struck the ground, there was a massive gash in the earth, as if it's been plowed by a cannonball. The class only gave to disbelief. No. Content to sit safely on the sidelines, I shake my head gravely at the ongoing clash. Considering she had just ripped Mother Earth a new anus, the amount of control it would have taken to slightly nudge someone, like she's been doing until now, was unconceivable. Man, this is crazy! Mr. Durrell's blocked it. Barehanded. Go, Owen, though, you can do it! Believe, we believe in you! This is seriously on another level! That's actually... Moving like cold lightning, Mr. Durrell slips through a gap in Owen's signing, closing the distance with a vicious roundhouse at the What the? You're gonna kick your own daughter, man? But with a reed bear borderlining on precise, Owen precisely steps one half step to the side, striking the blow off course with a brisk adjustment of her rod's back end. A flurry of punches, a squirrel of kicks. Mr. Durrell follows up with a ground-shattering advance. If Mr. Durrell's assault was unstoppable, Owen's poise was unbreakable. She slowly retreated as she deflects and evades Mr. Durrell's attacks with measured movements, maintaining a fixed distance the entire time. Then, sensing an opening, Owen abruptly releases her rod, lunging under an off-center strike and plunging her hand into Mr. Durrell's gut with a counterattack that sends him skidding. She's one hell of a brawler too. Rather than using her superior range as a crutch, she was using it to limit Mr. Durrell's options, setting the terms of the close quarter combat in a way that favoured her. Those of us standing on the sidelines could only look on in stunned silence at what was unfolding before us. A humble game of capture the flag had escalated to something far beyond the scope of our imagination. What we were witnessing could only be described as an epic fight to the death. It seems like you're quite motivated today. Though he did not flinch or clutch at where he sustained damage, beads of sweat could be seen tracing down Mr. Durrell's face. You have violated the integrity of the children's game by choosing to partake. I will not allow such an infringement to pass. I knew you were a prime collaborator in yesterday's prank. I'm not that heavy of a sleeper unless certain incriminating conditions are met. Do not think you'll be afforded any any claim to righteousness. Any claim to righteousness. You shall know the same indignity you brought upon me. The final clash, a dictate of certain defeat. Could his callous hands grasp the fruit of victory from the jaws of defeat? Hopeful prayers run through the minds of the blue team as they gaze upon the form of the one who had shown them the light in a sea of darkness. It seems you wish to suffer the same humiliation of yesterday once more, Father. Allow me to grant that wish. The promise of certain victory, a decree of absolute penitence. Could her unseeing eyes capture a vision of salvation amidst the despair of sudden upheaval? Oh my God! This is the battle of the day. Jeez. And I'm actually gonna finish the episode here. So links to my YouTube page and my Twitter page will be down below, along with a link to Amino. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, so you know when the next video comes out. And leave a like if you love this battle. This is the craziest battle I've ever seen. This battle has taken so many turns, and it's just the best. Like, it's better than Ruby. It's better than those other games that I've played that have fighting sequences in them, which isn't many. Like, outside the channel. And anyway, that is it for today. Mad Scientist out.